Having a disciplinary and grievance process is necessary and important because everybody needs to understand boundaries, and whether they are used or not used, that boundary is important so that staff can feel confident that they will be listened to fairly, irrespective of what may have occurred.
Disciplinary and grievance is there as a tool effectively for managers and for team members to be able to work to a framework that is tried and tested, and if used in the correct way can affect behaviours in a positive way on a long-term basis. It gives the organisation a backbone in a lot of respects to say this is as far as we will go potentially with action, but it's not necessarily always the thing that needs to be enacted. It needs to be spoken about, it needs to be referred to, disciplinary and grievance, and used accordingly when necessary.
It will help minimise conflict because people are aware of what the stages are. If there's something in place and no one knows about it, then nothing's going to change. People are just going to be like, I don't know what happens, so might as well try. So by having something that says, right, if you do this, this is what's going to happen, people don't want that to happen most of the time, so they're going to try and avoid causing that problem. Therefore, conversation is going to be easier with resolving these conflicts. But if it is in place and it is necessary, by having something structured and easy to follow, it'll make the management feel more comfortable, because it is a difficult thing to say. Bringing someone into your office or wherever and saying, why have you done this? Or, stop stealing from the storeroom. It's a difficult conversation to have, but sometimes it's necessary. So having that in place, having that really concrete and understood, it will just smooth things out a lot easier. So it's important to follow these processes so that everything goes smoothly, and that if it happens to someone else, if it happens to two people on the team and you deal with them differently, that could cause more problems later down the line. If you dealt with someone with a written form and then the other person is more verbal, then there's going to be complaints, which could cause more conflict with yourself. It's also going to prevent that trust from building up because people don't know where they stand with you. So having a very solid set of rules and grievance procedures that you can then follow to the T, it's going to stop that from ever arising. People have nothing to complain about because it's the same process no matter who it happens to, and making sure obviously that everyone knows about that.
If you get into a habit of not following disciplinary and grievance procedures, there's a risk that the leadership can be seen in a way that they are not willing to exercise the authority in which they have, and therefore it can create situations where team members will potentially cross lines that they wouldn't have otherwise have done had they have felt that they were within an organisation that's going to exercise disciplinary procedures. When those processes are used, you do see a marked change in the environment in which you work, and it has to be very carefully managed, that it's an understanding that these processes can be used, but not one where it's used as fear in any way.
It's also important to follow the process so that there is trust amongst the entire organisation that people will follow procedure. It also means there's a degree of fairness so that everybody is treated equally, irrespective of what may happen, but also that there's an understanding of repercussions for inaction or inappropriate action.